Welcome back to the Daily Morning Sports Feed on Reds Army, with me as editor Olivia. Today, let's take a look at some notable sports news in the past 24 hours. Thank you for always supporting and accompanying us. Come to the following hot news. Dallas Cowboys QB Dak Prescott to have surgery on right thumb, expected to miss 6 to 8 weeks. Aaron Rodgers on Packers loss. We hurt ourselves many times, myself included. Dallas Cowboys QB Dak Prescott to have surgery on right thumb, expected to miss 6 to 8 weeks. Dallas Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott said he is expected to have surgery Monday on his right thumb after he was injured in the season-opening 19-3 loss to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on Sunday night. He is expected to miss 6 to 8 weeks and the injury will likely land him on injured reserve, according to multiple sources. Prescott was injured in the fourth quarter when he hit the hand of outside linebacker Shaq Barrett while throwing a pass. Prescott will meet with the Cowboys' hand specialist Monday but, according to multiple sources, he will have a pin and plate inserted into the area to stabilize the joint. Prescott said he initially thought he jammed a finger and didn't believe it was serious. But he went to the locker room for x-rays, which showed a fracture. "I was told it was much cleaner than it could have been," Prescott said after the game while wearing a splint on his right hand. "It's a significant injury," Coach Mike McCarthy said. The Cowboys will go with Cooper Rush as their starting quarterback beginning next week against the Cincinnati Bengals. Will Grier is the team's number 3 quarterback and he's currently on the practice squad. Rush won his first career start last year against the Minnesota Vikings when Prescott was out with a right calf strain. He completed 7 of 13 passes for 64 yards after taking over for Prescott against Tampa Bay. He threw for 325 yards and 2 touchdowns in the 20-16 win against the Vikings. "It's very disappointing, but injuries happen, can't necessarily control it, just unfortunate," Prescott said. "Obviously going to miss some time, not be there for my team and that's what hurts more than anything, especially after the start we just put out there. Wanted to be able to respond, and not necessarily having that opportunity for several weeks. Yeah, it's unfortunate. But I'll do what I've always done anytime adversity comes, take it on head first and give my best and I'm sure I'll come out of this thing better." Prescott, who is now 2-5 in season openers in his career, completed 14 of 29 passes for 134 yards, was intercepted once and sacked twice while the Cowboys were held without a touchdown in a season opener for the first time since 2001. The last time the Cowboys scored fewer than 6 points in a season opener was September 10, 1989, a 28-0 loss to the New Orleans Saints, which was the first game of Jones' tenure as owner and general manager and the debut of Troy Aikman and Jimmy Johnson. The thumb injury capped a strange week for Prescott, who was limited in last Thursday's practice because of a sore ankle that he blamed on a new pair of cleats. Prescott kept insisting he was fine and said it would not be an issue against the Buccaneers after going through full workouts Friday and Saturday. Prescott sustained a compound fracture and dislocation of his right ankle in the 5th game of the 2020 season against the New York Giants. He returned to start 16 games last season, setting a Cowboys single-season record with 37 touchdown passes. He missed one start with a calf strain. On the opening drive Sunday, Prescott completed passes to 4 different receivers as the Cowboys moved 54 yards on 14 plays to take a 3-0 lead after a 51-yard field goal by Brett Maher. They went 3+ series before they would gain another first down, on a 12-yard run by Prescott. CeeDee Lamb caught one pass after the first drive but just one more from Prescott the rest of the way. Prescott's 134 yards were the second fewest he has had in a game that he has started and finished in his career. He had 102 yards on 11 of -22 passing on November 30, 2017, against Washington. After starting 69 straight games from 2016 to 2020, Prescott has missed 12 games the last 2 seasons and is looking at missing 7 more this season. The Cowboys have their bye November 6 and play at the Green Bay Packers on November 13. "Obviously it's not what you want to hear, but it's not the worst thing that's happened to me," Prescott said. "Yeah, it's just another bump in the road and I'll keep moving forward. As I said, I'll do everything that I can control to get myself back, to get myself better and help this team." Aaron Rodgers on Packers loss. "We hurt ourselves many times, myself included." Matt LaFleur fell on the sword for the Packers' Week 1 performance, but Aaron Rodgers preached patience after the Vikings' 23-7 win in Minnesota. LaFleur gave a blunt assessment of his own performance as a play caller in a game in which the Packers averaged 6.7 yards per pass attempt and appeared to get away from the one productive unit, the run game, too early. Obviously, it wasn't very good, LaFleur said. That starts with me. I have to have a better plan for the team and get the guys prepared. LaFleur even threw a few logs on his own fire when it came to the offensive distribution. Anytime Aaron Jones comes off of a game with 8 touches, that's not good enough, LaFleur said. But Rodgers, who was visibly upset on the sideline as the Packers stumbled out of the gate offensively, seemed to have mellowed a bit by the time post-game rolled around. We had a lot of chances today, Rodgers said. Not taking anything away from the Vikings' defense, but we hurt ourselves many times, myself included. I had a lot of opportunities to score a lot more than 7 points. There's truth in what both men said. LaFleur has authored more on-point game plans than not in his mostly brilliant Packers career. But he certainly won't be framing this call sheet. The Packers came out passive and unwilling to test the Vikings secondary deep more than a few times early. Part of that understandably could be chalked up to the offensive line being quite beat up. But getting away from his 2 best playmakers in the game, Jones and A.J. Dillon, ended up backfiring. They combined for 23 touches. Realistically, that number should be closer to 40 than to 20. Rodgers agreed on that point. But he also saw the bright side of what outwardly was a pretty dim performance when it mattered most. Look, it's tough to win in this league, and definitely tough to win when you get in your own way too many times, he said. I feel like we did some good things. We maybe gotta get some more touches for Jonesy and Dillon. Rodgers did make sure to point out that it was far from ideal, though. We made a lot of mistakes in the perimeter, missed some throws, so there's a lot to clean up all the way around, he said. But he might be onto something in one regard. The Packers struggling in Week 1 is not new. They were abysmal in that bizarre season opener a year ago against the Saints, losing 38-3 and amassing only 229 yards and 14 first downs, far worse than today. For refresher's sake, the Packers would win their next 7 games, finish the season 13-4, and Rodgers would win AP NFL Most Valuable Player for a second consecutive season. Sometimes bad things happen in Week 1 that can be quickly washed away. But that team had Davante Adams, something this club does not. While Adams was busy catching 10 passes for 141 yards and a score in his Raiders debut, the Packers wide receivers collectively totaled 12 catches for 120 yards, the vast majority of which came after falling behind by 17 points. An early drop by rookie Christian Watson on a pass that should have been a 75-yard touchdown set the tone for the day. Drops are going to happen, it's part of the game, Rodgers said. It's the mental stuff that we just can't have because we're hurting ourselves. Perhaps LaFleur will rethink his decision to not play his starters in the preseason, something he's now done 2 years in a row. Doing it last year was one thing. Taking that approach with a unit that's makeup has changed markedly is quite another. This is 2 years in a row that we've come out and not looked prepared, LaFleur said. Certainly all of us will look inward, and will make the necessary corrections. Those corrections could come as soon as September 18th, when the Packers host the 1-0 Chicago Bears. Even after Chicago's fine defensive performance in Week 1, it's worth reminding that Rodgers has owned the Bears in recent matchups. If that trend continues, just like Green Bay's slow start a year ago, the Packers should be just fine, even as ugly as Sunday's result was. And those are also the most outstanding morning news today. Thank you to everyone for listening and following redsarmy's daily news. If you find the video interesting and useful, please click like and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any of the latest sports news.